worked at a cell phone shop, so I really didn't have much. I mean, first year out of college, was young, married, and then got instantly divorced. He opened my world. Like, this dude is making $600,000 a year in Orlando. So that was what kind of drive me. I saw these people and I'm looking at them, but I'm like, that dude, that girl, and that's probably the first key to the whatever you want to call successful.
Okay. Okay, guys, here's another edition, very special edition of the Phone Warriors podcast. We have the one and only from Orlando, Florida, Milton James in the house. Welcome, Milton.
Dean, Richard, how's it going?
Going great.
I'm from your hometown, dude. You should definitely
Well, that's why I love you guys. I mean, you guys are like my brothers. You know, we came up from the same. We probably played football together. You know, I probably truck sticked you. You know, whatever. Like we came up.
Oh, I'm definitely sure you're a better athlete than I was. That's for sure.
Nah, I just had a big mouth.
That's awesome, man. So listen, obviously, you know, you being here, we're super grateful because I think there's so many people and agents out there that look up to you, right? They are out there, they're looking up to Milton. You're on the stages now, on the panels, you're getting noticed. You have been getting noticed for many, like almost a couple of years now, where it's like your name is now almost becoming a brand, okay?
Yeah.
But what is really driving Milton James? Like, what's behind the curtain that you're waking up every day that you can say, this is my purpose, this is my intention of why I'm getting up every day to become this world-class person in your eyes that you're becoming?
Oh, well, thank you. You know, I appreciate you putting my name and world class in the same sentence. It's not that good. So, you know, I will say I've been fortunate enough to be associated with some great people like yourselves. And you know, just being able to work hard enough to be in the same room as you guys, you know. So what you know, I think that anything could be fixed, handled, accomplished through prospecting. And I think I love the fact that you guys are prospecting based and you know, really, if you look at the word prospecting, it's all about making things happen versus waiting for things to happen. So anyone that calls themselves a prospector, those are my people. That's my tribe.
So you agree with the people who pick up the phone, and make calls versus, you know, make an Instagram post or a Facebook post or a mailer. You know, you rather people put the work in to.
Yeah. I mean, listen, those things are great. I think there's some great agents that have a great foundation of generating business that way. And I think if I can add that to my game, that would be great. You know, it's like Kyrie Irving. He's got handles, but then once he became a shooter, he was deadly. So you can do everything. I think I just feel like that was my foundation.
So what is it about the phones that you love so much? Like, why prospecting? What attracts you to this method of business that you're so good at right now?
Well, I don't know about good. Thank you. I'm willing and able, but I don't know about good. So, I really think that it's just you know, it's like when Dean met his wife. You know, it's like she didn't come up to you and start talking to you. You had to go to you know, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Dean. Yeah.
That's a true
So
story, by the way. Yes.
probably, yeah. I don't know the story, but
Yeah.
you know, you just have to be aggressive. Just there's two types of people. There's thinkers and there's doers. Thinkers are probably the most successful uh big picture, like, you know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, but that's a different level. But the doers, you know, I think America was, you know, made by doers. You know, Mike Ferry's a doer. You know, your coach is a doer. I mean, so doers create things. Thinkers, you know, also create things too. But I think it's more practical to be a doer.
I definitely agree with that. To be a doer is much more beneficial, you know, at least from my point of view. It sounds like your point of view, Dean's point of view. You need to be able to be willing to get rejected, and it takes tough skin to be in that field, right? Because a
Yeah.
day in, I'm sure you never happened to you, but it's happened to me where the prospect curses at you, the prospect, tells you some wonderful things about yourself that
Yeah.
you didn't already know about,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
to be able to pick up that phone, or heck, to even hang up that call just to make another call. It takes a lot of charisma, and it takes a lot of like a lot of strength to be able to have that skin to be able to move forward. So I know
yeah.
that you prospect daily, days out. What would you say that, has attributed to your prospecting? Yeah, like, for you to, like Dean said, like, what made you want to pick up the phone? So now that you are picking the phones, like, what made you want to do that?
Yeah, I think it was just exposure. I think the my first real estate event, I went there searching for something, I was lost. I was in a t-shirt, back of the room type of thing. And then you see all these people towards the front, and the speaker says, "Well, this person makes this amount." I'm like, they make that amount and they do what I do? Like, we have the same license. Like, what's the difference? I'm from New Jersey, Spotswood, New Jersey. I'm a kid from Spotswood, New Jersey. I wasn't very fast or big. I wasn't really good at sports, but I loved the game of football, right? Love basketball, but I'm only 5'10", which is debatable, by the way. And I didn't get a scholarship. I wanted to walk on at Keene University. I don't know if you remember Irvington, the Elizabeth Union area. And I wanted to
Yep.
play football. And I remember my coach, who was in high school, he would say, Milt, he called me Milt. I love you, man. You're so good at being a good person. You're cool as heck, but I'll write your recommendation, maybe special teams. So, that dream fizzled. That dream fizzled. I had some hoop dreams as far as playing football. And I had some concussion issues my senior year, and I could have probably bulked up, but we were a really small school. So my desire was to be successful in sports. And then I 2.4 GPA, barely got through college, went and worked at a cell phone shop. So I really didn't have much. I mean, first year out of college, was young, married, and then got instantly divorced, like a Kim Kardashian moment. So I found Mike Ferry, and that made me realize, like, holy smokes, right? There is a career in real estate, which my mom was a realtor, by the way, but she didn't really, she was a mom, right? So she kind of like Dean, one of the reasons him and I connect is his mom was a realtor, but it wasn't scalable. But when I met a guy named Mark Ramey out of Orlando, like a chameleon, he was a Mike Ferry agent. He opened my world. Like, this dude is making $600,000 a year in Orlando. So that was what kind of drive me. That I wanted to make 600,000.
Now, Milton, all the transactions that you've done, I mean, I'm assuming, I mean, you came out the gate. I don't assume that you were doing 100+ deals a year, obviously, right out the gate. And you've been in the business now for what, a little over 10 years?
14 years, and I'm still chasing 100. I haven't done 100 yet.
Okay, but that's fair.
Personally.
But I remember there, like when we were talking, just like at events and things like that, that you told me about, like there was like a trajectory moment, almost like an exponential hockey stick moment. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about how long it took you to transition from, let's say, doing 10 to 15 deals, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden you went to like boom, like to the 50? And what
Yeah.
what actions were you taking during your on your days to
Yeah.
get to that mode at some point? And what year did it hit for you?
Perfect. Thank you for that. That's a great question. So I was always hovering around that 20-25 deal a year producer range, which is a great life, by the way, especially if you're in a higher end market. Um, then I went to the 2019 Superstar Retreat, and I don't know if you guys remember, but the theme was Meet the Millionaires.
Oh,
Oh
he
yes, we were there.
Were you
uh
there?
yeah,
Yeah.
the billionaire
That
insurance.
event, bro, that event changed my life.
Hmm.
Okay. So Mike, gave out trophies, and he's like, well, this guy, millionaire realtor. I'm like, this guy, millionaire, and I have the book somewhere. And you read the red book, the millionaire real estate agent. And it's really been a concept. And but I saw like 50 agents that Mike Ferry brought up to the stage, and they're all millionaire realtors. And I thought it was like a mythical thing. I didn't really think those people existed, because you sit at the back and you're thinking these people get paid. Um, Mike shouts them out, and they get paid for some reason. But I saw these people and I'm looking at them and again, not to be negative, but I'm like, that dude, that girl, he did. So I'm like, all right, I'm good enough. Because I've always struggled with the concept of, am I good enough? You
Mm,
know, and it took a lot of I've had to go through a lot of negative things personally where I struggled, and that those negatives were actually the best thing that you could ever that could ever happen to you. So I started seeing these people like, yo, Eddie Oberai, millionaire realtor. He's brown like me. Like, holy smokes. This dude, Eddie Delgado, or I forgot his name. I don't think he comes anymore. I'm like, dang, like he's a little 5'8" Spanish dude. Like, I could do that. So then
mm,
they all had something in common. They were all in coaching. Who's your coach? This guy. Who's your coach? This guy. Who's your coach? This guy. And they all had kind of the same coach. So I was like, I need that coach. Like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get their coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. Kobe Bryant wanted to be MJ. So what did he do? He hired Tim Grover.
mm.
He did.
Like, it's pretty simple. I mean, you really think about it. It's like we're all from Jersey. We're kind of like dudes. We're simple-minded. I think simple-minded dudes, the most successful people you'll ever meet. We're lazy. We keep things super simple. We like nice things. We like pretty girls. Like Rich, I know you're engaged now, and well, what does it take to meet a pretty girl? You got to prospect. You got to follow up. You got to go on the appointment. You have to close. And so being a guy from Jersey, that's pretty easy.
Well,
So I simplify. I'm like, all right, that dude made that much. That dude made that much. What do they all have in common? I got back and I hammered their coach. So, oh, I'm busy. I'm busy. Oh, I'm busy. I'm busy. So then I was like, all right, well, how do I get into this dude's schedule? So I hit my coach up and I'm like, I think you're MJ. I think you're the greatest. I need you to help me get your coach or a coach that would coach you. So then he hooked me up with that coach. And then, long story short, I just had really great exposure
mm,
to the best coaches on the planet. And that's probably the first key to the to the whatever you want to call successful.
okay.
And that's the thing. There's so many people, as you know, that are way more successful.
How do you envision time? Like, when you talk about time management and everything else, how are you breaking down your time throughout the day? And how do you like view that like the time in your weekend and then also in the day?
That's a great question, man. It's kind of like you know, when you first start, I bought a I bought a dream car last year. And
Nice.
you get in that thing and you're driving around. Next thing you know, 6 hours go by. Time is made up. Time is an illusion. Time disappears when you're following your dreams and you're following what your desires are.
Mm,
It's like that first few dates with Richard Adamski's fiance. Like you talk and talk and like 16 hours go by.
mm.
Time disappears when you're doing what you love. Yeah.
Got it. So you never feel like basically you're saying it doesn't even matter. I'm following like your 50 contacts a day, however many appointment goals that you have for the day. It's not even like it's not even a thought. You're just going through like your
I'll
day.
tell you how I think about time. In the month of February, we've got 28, 29 total days. I
Mhm.
have to work 25 total days this month. And my goal is to be on an appointment every day. So, it's typically 20, if I can get on 20 appointments in a month, I haven't been able to do that. My most appointments I've ever gone on in 1 month was 16.
Mm.
No, I was 1 month I hit over 20. But if you can get on 20 appointments or more every single month, you'll at least do 100 deals, I think.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that.
So that's really the only thing about time. Like
Gotcha.
how I think of time is like, all right, I got to fill these appointment slots. And
Mm.
the appointment slot is today. Like today is one appointment slot. Tomorrow is another one.
And do you
Nice.
think that, a lot of the viewers who watch this, they're all probably in different production levels. Do
Yeah.
you feel that any one person, whether it be a transactional goal, somebody doing 10 or 15 deals, or like you just said, in respect to the time aspect, do you think that every agent has the ability to do,
Yeah.
just transactional goals
I
and
Yeah, I read backwards. I'm dyslexic, so like there's Natasha Johns from Indianapolis,
Mhm.
pink hair, she has another business. She did 200 deals last year.
Mm.
Mike coaches her by herself. Like she has a couple assistants, but if she could do it, I can do that. Like you guys do 90 plus deals a year or 100 whatever it is. Like if you can do it, like if it could be done, like the 4 minute mile, if it could be done by one person, it could be done like by someone else.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Got you. So yeah. So like let's say there was a kid that was knocking on your door relentlessly. He is like 100% like Milton. Just
Yeah.
tell me something that I can do. Let's say
Yeah.
he's a newer agent. He's just
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. And there's a lot of new agents, as I'm sure you know. Ever
Yeah.
since COVID, it's like everyone got a license, right? So they
Yeah.
knock on your door in your office there at Coldwell Banker.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you can share with that agent?
Talk to people. Figure out a way to get to 50 contacts a day. And once you're there, figure out a way to get to 100 a day.
And what's your definition of a contact now?
A live conversation
Do wrong
with
number.
with an adult. Oh, it's the wrong number. I'm sorry. I'm from the local real estate office. Are you in the market to buy a house this year?
Mm,
When do you plan to, it's a low quality contact, but you know,
mm,
But as long as you stay true to your definition and you stay consistent, that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day,
yeah,
we're all doing the same thing. We're all throwing that fishing line in the water, and we're trying to
yeah,
see if we can grab a fish, whether it be a goldfish that comes up on the other end,
yeah,
or
yeah.
I don't know fishing terminology, but whatever the use of
Whatever, yeah. Couple dudes from Jersey, whatever.
exactly. That, that
nice.
that's that's amazing.
No,
Now,
yeah, that's the thing. Like that's the problem, I think, is we overcomplicate it. I had a really good your coach, Dean. Are you still with Steve?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On record and off record, I coach with Tony Smith from the Mike Furry organization, and I just started actually, and he's helping me with pricing. But when Steve was with MFO and when he did coach me, he said, Milton, you're too smart for real estate. Dumb it down. I was like, what do you mean? He said, you overthink things. Like, okay. He said, what's your job every day? Oh no, well I got to do this. He's like, Milton, your job is to find an appointment, set an appointment. Your job
Yeah.
is to set a qualified listing appointment every day. And once you really think about that, that gets rid of everything else. Like your anxiety just goes away.
Mhm.
So if you really think about that, you have 8 hours to find one person.
and speaking of 8 hours and speaking about finding one person and having conversational goals, correct me if I'm wrong, but in order for you to achieve this, you wake up what 9 a.m. and you're in the office by what 12 to be able to achieve this in 9 hours. What
Yeah,
what
100%. Yeah,
what
well,
walk
and it's actually funny you say that because I have a theory on that, and I'll share it with you. But right now I'm trying to be, I get up at 5:30 gym, 6:30, I'm on that. But whether you wake up at 5 a.m. or 9 a.m. or even midday, because some people like in, South Florida, like they nightlife people and LA, the cool people.
Mhm.
I mean, I used to work retail, so sometimes you would start your shift at 11 a.m. Sometimes you would start at 8 a.m. Didn't really matter. Nurses, they start at like, graveyard shift. At the end of the day, my analyzer says I need to speak to 50 people a day. How long is that going to take me? It's going to be about 5, 6 hours, or less, depending on who. So work expands to the time allowed. So if I know I have to prospect 4 hours a day, let's say, whether I start at 8 a.m. or start at 12 or start at 3 p.m., like nobody's gonna like when you write, cash the check, it doesn't say when you started prospecting. It's just you spoke to these amount of people. So
Yes.
to your point, I think where you're heading, correct me if I'm wrong, is there's an ideal schedule, but there's also reality. But our job over time is to close the gap based
Mm.
on your responsibilities.
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was asking you, right? Because everybody asks, what's a top producer schedule look like, right?
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to have any, you can replicate somebody's schedule,
yeah.
but it has to work for you as the
It got to
individual.
work for you. My mom, anytime she's like, all right, I'm gonna sell some houses. She'll go to Macy's or, the builder and just like socialize. It doesn't. We're prospectors. They don't call themselves prospectors, but if you hang out with her for a day, yeah, she'll get up at like maybe 10 o'clock one day. She gets at 3 a.m. another day, but she's, talking to people all day.